Chargers versus Texans, Steelers versus Ravens. We got two wildcard games on Saturday, and I got a pick in each. We're going to start with my pick in the Texans versus Chargers game, a pick against the spread, and a money line winner. And then we're going to talk about my favorite player prop between the Ravens and the Steelers. Now, if you're stumbling onto this page for the first time, welcome. My name is Peter Apple, and this channel is the home for all of my NFL picks moving forward. And my goal is to give you as much information possible to help you make the smartest bets possible. So I hope you'll like this video and subscribe for future videos, as I'll have a pick for the Sunday wildcard games, the Monday wildcard game, and then of course picks for the rest of the playoffs. Let's start with my pick against the spread for the Texans versus the Chargers. Now, veterans of this channel know that I'm not a big fan of the Texans. My plan was to actually fade them in the playoffs if they were going up against one of the big juggernauts. So when I saw that the Chargers were facing them, I thought to myself, all right, I'm down to take the Chargers as long as they are underdogs or a pick 'em, because when I handicapped the game, I made the Chargers a little bit less than a 1-point favorite, even on the road in this spot. I was willing to bypass a lot of the profitable long-term systems that say to play the Texans, because I just don't think that the Texans are really that great of a team. But here's the thing. Neither are the Chargers. Then we got blindsided by Chargers minus 2.5 that has turned into Chargers minus 3. Every single bracket in America has the Chargers moving past the Texans in this round. Then I look at BetMGM splits, and the Chargers minus 3 is the most bet game of the entire wild card round. I guess I wasn't the only one to just see the Texans' struggles on offense this year. But even me, a noted Texans hater, can't get to Chargers minus 3 on the road here, especially with how tough the spot is for LA. The Chargers come into this game on their third straight road game. And since 2003, per Evan Abrams of Action Network, teams who are on their third game or later of any road trip are 45-71. Straight up, that's 39% in the regular season. And when that game is played in the playoffs, it's even worse, as I'm sure you can imagine. Teams are 11-27 straight up, 29% hit rate. And it's not just about 3 straight road games. The Chargers really haven't had a rest in a very long time. They go into the playoffs on their third straight road game, but they also haven't had a bye week since week 5. This team also has almost no playoff experience. Herbert is still looking for his first playoff win. He's just 0-1 in his career. Is that the team that we want to back as the favorite on the road, especially as a 3-point favorite? So then on the flip side, we get C.J. Stroud at home. Now, C.J. Stroud and the Texans offense, their struggles on offense are well documented by me. And losing Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs has proven to really limit this passing offense. But Stroud at least typically has his best performances at home. Remember last year at home where the Browns were a 2.5-point favorite and the Texans won 45-14? Now, I'm not betting the Texans side because I think they're the same team as that. They're worse than last year. But what has continued from last year is that Stroud's completion percentage and QBR are both higher at home. Now, when we look at the Texans' schedule, it's clear they're one of the weakest playoff teams. Houston's only notable win is a 3-point win, again, at home against the Buffalo Bills. They kept it close against Green Bay, and they nearly beat the Lions at home. Here's the thing, though. The Chargers' only win against playoff teams are the 2 divisional wins against the Broncos. They lost to the Chiefs twice. They lost to the Ravens by a touchdown, and which could have been more, but it was really a garbage time touchdown from Justin Herbert. And they lost to the Buccaneers 40-17. Now, those are the only playoff teams that they faced all season long. Now, both defenses, they're very good, and they're likely to dictate this game. Both defenses have been legit, and both have been equal when it comes to EPA per play. But one of those defenses, again, is going into their third straight road game, and it's not often that we see a short home dog in the playoffs, right? Those teams over their last 15 games, teams like the Texans, are 10-3-2 against the spread. Should be a great game, close throughout. It's also the lowest total of the weekend, so the margins are going to be really tight. Knowing all these factors, I'm backing the team that I don't even love, but they have more playoff experience. They're in a better spot. They're at home. And the Chargers, I think, are just inflated here, right? I'm not a fan of the Texans. I'm not a fan of the Chargers, but I think the Texans are in a much better spot here, considering I'm getting points, especially at the key number of 3. Had to take it. Texans +3 for 0.75 units. Then I'm rounding out my full unit with a 0.25 unit sprinkle on the Texans money line. Take us home, CJ Stroud. Before we get to my last pick, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win up to $250,000 in bonus bets. It's all part of BetMGM's longest touchdown jackpot, where you'll be able to split the grand prize with anyone else who bet on the longest touchdown of the week. It's easy to get started. Log into your BetMGM account and opt into the promo. Then place an anytime touchdown wager of $10 or more on the player of your choice, up to one player per game. If your player scores the longest touchdown of the week, you'll win a share of $250K. And if you're new to BetMGM, make sure to use promo code JUSTGridiron, because it'll also get you a first bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first wager loses. Make sure to get on board BetMGM. They have tons of promos all wild card round, all of the playoffs, and of course, don't miss out on the free money they're putting on the table with that first bet offer, again, using promo code JUSTBASEBALL. So let's talk Ravens Steelers. And my pick for Ravens Steelers might be a sneaky option for this promo on BetMGM, but we're really looking at the over on his receiving line. Now, Zay Flowers was ruled out for this game, right? Which opens up a lot of opportunities for other Ravens pass catchers to get involved. Flowers is the Ravens' #1 weapon on offense, ranks 10th in yards per route run this year. So without him, they're definitely going to have to spread the wealth. The Steelers' struggles against tight ends are very apparent, but with Mark Andrews likely going to get all the attention now because Zay Flowers is out, I'm going to his partner in crime, Isaiah Likely. A really encouraging sign for Isaiah Likely going into this game is that his snap count and routes run have increased since coming out of the Ravens bye week in week 14. Likely has averaged 42 snaps, 17 routes run per game over their last 4 games, commanded a 16% target share on those routes. In the game against Pittsburgh in week 16 specifically, Likely had a 23% target rate on routes run. He just continues to get more and more usage in this offense. And even with Zay Flowers at Lamar's disposal, Likely has had really no trouble clearing this line against Pittsburgh. Over his last 4 games against the Steelers, he's averaging 33.75 yards per game, and that includes a game where he had 0 receptions. Over his last 3 games against them, he's been over 27.5 receiving yards in all of them, averaging 45 yards per game. And like I said earlier, the Steelers have been well below average against tight ends this season. Tight ends in 2024 against the Pittsburgh Steelers are averaging 56.4 yards per game, which only ranks them 22nd among all teams. The obvious answer to beating the Steelers is a heavy dose of Mark Andrews, but like I said, I have to imagine that the Steelers are going to do their best to make his life in particular as difficult as possible. But with Likely getting more and more involved in this passing game in recent weeks, combined with the Steelers' struggles against tight ends, I think Isaiah Likely is likely to be the guy left open and has a ton of upside to go over his yards. We got a juiced receptions line at 2.5 that continues to increase, and this line continues to go up as well. Give me Isaiah Likely over 27.5 receiving yards. This is playable for me, up to 28.5. Anything higher than that, I would just lower the risk or look for some alt lines like 30 plus, 40 plus, even 50 plus. I think Isaiah Likely will have a great game for the Ravens. I didn't want to bet against the spread on this game or the total. I think Isaiah Likely over receiving yards is the best bet in this game. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment what you think of my picks and what you're on for the wild card round. I'd love to get in the comments section, talk any picks that you guys are on. And if you disagree with mine, let me know, of course, as well. And if you agree, let me know. Make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications for the Sunday and Monday videos. Let's sweep wild card weekend, or at least Saturday. Let's start with Saturday, one day at a time. Why not us?